Welcome to Botany class, children. How are you all, children? I hope all are fine and safe by the grace of God. Standard 11, Chapter 4, Reproductive Morphology. Children, do you all like flowers? Yes, of course, we all love flowers. Flowers are the most beautiful things in this world that makes our lives happier in many ways. Flowers, they are useful in many ways. It is used as decorative purposes, used as medicine, aroma, natural air freshener. Their presence beautify our surrounding. They also reduce stress and anxiety. The primary function of a flower is reproduction. Children, have you seen a bouquet being used during a function? What is a bouquet? A bouquet is a group of flowers arranged together on our preference. That is called a bouquet. Then what is an inflorescence? An inflorescence is a group of flowers arranged on a branched or unbranched axis. Group of flowers arranged on a branched or unbranched axis in a definite pattern. That is called a inflorescence. The main function of the inflorescence is to display the flowers for effective pollination and facilitate seed dispersal. Come children, let us learn the different types of inflorescence through this topic. Have you ever noticed the inflorescence arising at different position? Yes. Where is the inflorescence present in a plant? Axial or apex? On both the position. Okay. Based on the position, pattern, number of flowers and arrangement of the flowers, we are going to study the different types of inflorescence. Types of inflorescence based on the position, based on the branching pattern. Now let us learn based on the position. There are three types, namely terminal, axillary, cauliflorous. Terminal. Inflorescence arise at the terminal shoot. Inflorescence present at the terminal shoot. This is called as what? Terminal inflorescence. Example, Nerium. Example, Nerium oleander. This is the raceme of Nerium oleander. So, this is present in the terminal shoot of the plant. Next is axillary inflorescence. Axillary inflorescence. Example, Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Here the inflorescence arise at the axial part of the plant. Axial part of the plant. So, Hibiscus rosa sinensis arise at the axial part which is nearer to the vegetative leaf. So, this is an example for axillary inflorescence. Hibiscus rosa sinensis. Next one is cauliflorous. Cauliflorous. Have you noticed the jackfruit inflorescence, children? Where does it develop? Yes, it develop directly at the woody trunk. So, inflorescence arise at the directly at the woody trunk is called cauliflorous inflorescence. Example, Theobroma coco. Theobroma coco. Cauliflorous means what? Here the inflorescence develop directly at the woody trunk. Now let us move on to the next topic called based on branching pattern, position and number of flowers, how it arrangement of flowers and special characters. So based on that, it is divided into four types, namely indeterminate, determinate, mixed, special. Indeterminate is otherwise known as raceme. Racemose or raceme. Determinate is otherwise known as cymose or cyme. So indeterminate, determinate. Next one is mixed. Mixed is the combination of both indeterminate and determinate. And last one is special inflorescence. Racemose. What is racemose? Racemose means here the central axis possess terminal bud. Central axis possess terminal bud which is capable of growing continuously and produce lateral flowers. That is called as what? Racemose. Here you could observe old flowers at the base and young flowers at the apex. This type of arrangement you can observe in racemose. Next one, based on the growth pattern. Based on the growth pattern, it is divided into three types, namely main axis elongated, main axis shortened, main axis flattened. These are the three types of racemose. Main axis elongated. Here the central axis is elongated. Central axis is elongated, which possess pedicellate or sessile flowers. காம்பு இருக்கும் இல்ல காம்பு இல்லாம இருக்கும். சரிங்களா? அதான் pedicellate or sessile flowers. Now under main axis elongated, it is divided into 6 types, namely simple raceme, spike, spikelet, catkin, spadix, panicle. These are the 6 types comes under main axis elongated. Next one, main axis shorten. Main axis shorten, here the central axis is reduced. Central axis is reduced. So under this there are 2 types, namely corim and umbel. Corim and umbel. Third type is main axis flatten or globose. Main axis flatten or globose. So flatten, here it may be convex or concave. So under this there is only one type, that is called as head. What is simple raceme? Now let us see simple raceme under the topic main axis elongated. Simple raceme. Simple raceme means here the central axis, okay, the central axis is unbranched. கிளைகள் இருக்காது. With pedicellate flower. Pedicellate means காம்பு இருக்கும். Flowers காம்பு இருக்கும். Okay. So the central axis is unbranched pedicellate flower with the acropetal succession. Acropetal means order of opening of flowers towards the center. Okay, that is called as acropetal succession. So example for the simple raceme is Crotalaria retusa. Crotalaria retusa. Next one, spike. Spike example Acheranthus. Acheranthus நாயுருவின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க இல்லையா அது. So what is spike? Spike here again it is unbranched. It possesses what? A central axis is unbranched with the sessile flowers. Sessile means what? காம்பு இருக்காது. Flowers காம்பு இருக்காது. So spike is an unbranched with the sessile flowers. It is the central axis is unbranched with the sessile flowers. Example Acheranthus. Spikelet. What is spikelet? Spikelet here it is a small spike which is branched axis, which possesses what? A branched axis. Each branch is called a spikelet. Each branch is called spikelet, which possesses sessile flowers in acropetal succession. A pair of bract present at the base. This is called as glooms. Each sessile flower, at the base of the sessile flower there is a lemma and a lemma and a plia is present. That is bract and bracteole is present. Each sessile flower has pistil and stamens only. Example for this spikelet is paddy, barley, sorghum, wheat. Catkin. Catkin inflorescence. Example Prosopis juliflora. Prosopis juliflora. சீமை கருவேலம் சொல்லுவோம் அதுதான். So what is catkin? Catkin is a pendulous inflorescence. Pendulous inflorescence with a long and drooping axis. With a long and drooping axis with a small unisexual or bisexual flowers. It is also called as ament. It is also called as ament. Example for catkin is Prosopis juliflora. Spadix. Spadix inflorescence. Here the inflorescence axis is thickened or fleshy, which possess unisexual sessile flowers in acropetal succession. Here example for this spadix is Coccus, Colocasia, Amorphophallus. So all these are examples. And then here female, that is a female flower arranged at the base and the male flowers at the apex, towards the apex. And the inflorescence is covered by a bract, brightly colored or hard bract called spathe. So example for this spadix is what? Coccus. Next one is panicle. Next one is called panicle. Here panicle means here a branched, that is a branched raceme is called. A branched raceme is called panicle. Example for panicle is mangifera, neem and so on. So here this raceme panicle is otherwise known as racemes of raceme. Racemes of raceme or compound raceme or main axis shorten. What is main axis shorten? Here the central axis shows the reduced growth, that is called main axis shorten. There are two types under this. One is called corymb, another one is called umbel. What is corymb? Corymb here an inflorescence with a shorter pedicel at the top and a longer pedicel at the bottom. Is called this arrangement you could see, and then all flowers appear to be at the same level. Example for this corymb is Acial pinia. There is another type of corymb is there, that is called a compound corymb. A compound corymb means a branched corymb is called as what? Compound corymb. Example for this is cauliflower. Another type of main axis shorten is umbel. Umbel means here an inflorescence with a indeterminate, an inflorescence with a indeterminate central axis with a pedicellate flower which arise at the common point of the peduncle. Common point of the peduncle is called as what? Umbel. Example for umbel is Allium cepa. There is another type of umbel is there, that is called as compound umbel. A branched umbel is called as compound umbel. Each smaller umbel is called as umbellule. Example for this is Daucus carota. Main axis flatten. Main axis flatten or globose. Here flatten may be convex or concave. Head or capitulum. Head is determinate or indeterminate. Sessile or subsessile which arise on a receptacle covered by an involucre. And then here head is a characteristic feature of a family Astraceae, some members of the Rubiaceae. For example, Mimosa pudica. Here head is of two types, namely homogamous head and heterogamous head. A torus may contain disc floret or ray florets. Here homogamous means an inflorescence contain a single type of florets. For example, disc floret. Disc floret is Vernonia plant contain only disc floret, whereas Launia it contain only ray florets. Heterogamous. Here the head contain an inflorescence contain both the type of florets, ray florets as well as the disc florets. Example is Tridax. So here in Tridax the disc floret is present in the center and the ray floret is present at the margin. So this type of floret is seen in the Tridax, which is heterogamous example. Cymose inflorescence. What is cymose inflorescence? The central axis stop growing and ends in a flower. Further growth takes place by axillary bud. It may be here the older flowers at the top and young flowers at the bottom. So this type of inflorescence is called cymose inflorescence. There are different types of cymose inflorescence. They are simple cyme, monocaseal cyme, simple dicaseum, compound dicaseum, polycaseal cyme. Now let us learn what is called simple cyme. Simple cyme means here determinate inflorescence with a single flower. It may be of terminal or axillary. Terminal example Tyrillium, axillary example hibiscus. Next is monocaseal cyme. Monocaseal cyme. Here the central axis ends with the flower. Of these two bracts, only one branches further. They may be of helicoid or scorpioid. What is helicoid? Helicoid example potato. Here helicoid means axis develop on one side. Axis develop on one side. That is called as what? Helicoid, and become a coil structure which develop on one side and become a coil structure. That is called as what? Helicoid. Example potato. Scorpioid. Scorpioid here axis develop alternate. Axis develop on alternate and then it often become a coiled structure. That is called as what? Scorpioid. Example heliotropium. Heliotropium. The third type of cymose inflorescence is simple dicaseum. Example jasminum. What is simple dichasium? Here the central axis ends with a terminal flower. Further growth takes place by means of lateral buds. Here each cymose unit consists of 3 flowers, of which the oldest one in the center. This is the true cyme. Example, jasminum. Next one, compound dichasium. Compound dichasium. It has many flowers. It has many flowers. Oldest terminal flower develops into a which develops the lateral branches. That is lateral simple dichasium laterally on both the sides. The oldest terminal flower only will produces the lateral simple dichasium on both the sides. Totally here if you see means there are 7 flowers are present in the compound dichasium. Example, clerodendron. Clerodendron. Next one is polycacial cyme. Example, nerium. Polycacial. Here the central axis ends with the flower. Lateral, that is a lateral axis branches repeatedly. Lateral axis branches repeatedly. This is called as what? Polycacial cyme. Example, nerium.
Mixed inflorescence. Mixed inflorescence. What is mixed inflorescence? Mixed inflorescence is a combination of both racemose and cymose. There are 2 types of mixed inflorescence, namely thyresis and verticillestar. Thyresis and verticillestar. What is thyresis? Thyresis means raceme of cymes. Raceme of cymes. Here main axis is indefinite, central axis bears lateral pedicellate cyme. Lateral pedicellate cyme. Example, ocimum. Example, ocimum. Here the central axis is indefinite and then it bears what? Lateral pedicellate cymes. Next is verticillestar. Verticillestar. Example, leucus. Example, leucus. Verticillestar. Here the main axis is 2 opposite. It arises at the 2 opposite sessile cyme at the axial of the node. Axial of the node. It produces monocacial scorpioid lateral branches so that the flowers are crowded. Flowers are crowded. So verticillestar, here the main axis bears 2 opposite sessile cyme at the axial of the node. Each of it produces monocacial scorpioid lateral branches so that the flowers are crowded at the node. Example, leucus. Special inflorescence. What is special inflorescence? Here the inflorescence do not show any development pattern. Such type is called special inflorescence. It is of 3 types, namely Cyathium, Hypanthodium, Synaptium. Now let us learn what is Cyathium. Cyathium inflorescence. Here it consists of small unisexual flowers. Small unisexual flowers with a common involucre. Male flowers are organized in a scorpioid manner. Female flowers are centrally located and it is solitary with a long pedicel. Male flowers contain only stamens. Female flowers consist of pistils only. The cyathium may be actinomorphic or zygomorphic. Actinomorphic example, euphorbia. Zygomorphic example, pedilanthes. Hypanthodium example, ficus species. The receptacle is halo globose consisting of unisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers are present at the inner wall of the receptacle. Receptacle is closed except a small opening called ostiole. Ostiole is surrounded by series of bracts. Male flowers are present near the ostiole and the female flowers and the neutral flowers are present in a mixed manner at the middle below. Example, ficus species. Synaptium, another type of special inflorescence is Synaptium. Example, Dostenia. Synaptium, it is a circular disc fleshy open receptacle. Here the male flowers, that is staminate flowers,
are present in the periphery, present at the periphery, and the pistillate flowers are present at the center. Female flowers at the center, male flowers at the periphery. Example, Dostenia. Example, Dostenia. Children, in today's class, we have completed the different types of inflorescence. What is inflorescence? The different types of inflorescence. Racemose, cymose, mixed inflorescence and special inflorescence. Thank you, children.